Hello, friends, and welcome to a new exciting episode. This is my new baby, my latest acquisition from, you've guessed it right, KAWECO. And I will give you a little hint about the original of this set. We have original KAWECO Sport. This is a quite rare set from KAWECO, and you must know that it comes from 1996. Maybe you've heard about the history of KAWECO, but KAWECO was an important German fountain pen manufacturer. Some said that in the 1930s they did their gold nibs better than Mont Blanc, and throughout the 1940s and the 1950s they had quite qualitative products and iconic products, especially the KAWECO Sport model. Indeed, this model that I have here pays a little homage to the models of the 1930s and of the 1940s, and you will see what I mean. Let's see the set. It is formed out of a fountain pen and a ballpoint pen. This is its original etui, and we are talking, of course, about the KAWECO Sport by Diplomat from 1996. When I told you that it pays homage to the models of the 1930s and the 1940s, I was referring to this guilloche pattern on the plastic. Unfortunately, the body is done with injected plastic and it shows it's like a cheap material in comparison with the original celluloid ones. But we have the pattern of the guilloche, including at the end, which the older model was the turning knob for the piston filling mechanism. Also, at the end, we have made in Germany. Unfortunately, this is a model that uses cartridges, so we don't have a piston filling mechanism, and the need for an ink window is gone by using the ink cartridges. And of course, we don't have a gold nib, but a simple steel gold plated nib. And this was outsourced to the Bock nib German manufacturer. So the Bock nib German manufacturer provided this nib for this model. I must tell you that this set was in NOS condition when I bought it. And speaking of my latest acquisition, I paid for it 240 lei or 49.26 euros or 58.22 American dollars. And this price included the shipment of this beautiful set. This imprint, KAWECO Sport by Diplomat, that you see both of the fountain pen and on the ballpoint pen, is rather scarce. I've searched on the internet. In 1996, the code for the cartridge fountain pen was KW0300UV, and for the ballpoint pen was KW 0100 UV ballpoint pen. And there were two versions of this set that were both injection molded in black and blue with that guilloche pattern. When we talk about Diplomat, there are two versions of this name, and maybe you can help me. Some of the people believe that this was a co-branded product from KAWECO Sport and the brand Diplomat, which was a luggage brand, a German brand. But also in 1996, there was a Diplomat German firm that produced fountain pens. So maybe this was a co-branded product, one from the manufacturer KAWECO, which at that period of time they tried to reinvent themselves, so they were quite, let's say, struggle times for the firm. Maybe This is why they use this plastic. The feeling is quite cheap, but they look all right. And when I saw them for the first time, this guilloche pattern simply attracted me to this product. I saw that this is an homage to the beautiful models of the 1930s and the 1940s. So the ballpoint pen, I'm not quite familiar with it. I know that it can take out the part here, but I don't know how to replace the this refill. And the fountain pen, I thought to myself that you guys should deserve a writing sample, but because it is an NOS model, I will just, with your permission, I will just dip the nib because it is the same thing, and I believe it will have the same ink flow as ink cartridge would have. I will leave the dimensions of the set on the screen, and I will choose um, ink to do the writing sample. And I thought to myself, a pelican, brilliant farts or brilliant black would do the trick. I will simply shake it, open it. I will put the ballpoint aside here, and I will just dip the nib in ink. And after I will do the writing sample, I will just clean it with tap water. Okay, let's see now if we can post it. Yes, it posts quite secure. I will leave it posted because it's quite a small fountain pen. I will put aside the ink bottle. Remember, always after you use the ink bottle, please screw back on the cap to avoid the little accidents. Okay, now we'll give it a zoom, and I hope I dip it sufficient to have a decent writing sample. So, KAWECO Sport by Diplomat. This is from 1996. It was definitely made in Germany. Made in Germany. Okay. The name is KW 0300 UV. The cartridge fountain pen, and KW 0100 UV, which is the ballpoint pen. Ballpoint pen. Of course, this beautiful steel nib, gold plated, manufactured by Bock. So we have a Bock steel nib, and I'm telling you, it's a wonderful, wonderful nib. Let's see if we have some line variations. And believe me or not, I sense that we have a little semi-flex. We have a little flexiness to it. Let's see how juicy the nib is. Remember, I just only dip it in ink, so we have a very juicy nib. Well, this was my review of a beautiful, beautiful KAWECO Sport by Diplomat. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and if you liked it, please support my activity by subscribing to my channel. As always, I wish you to Have a nice day. Nice day. I will also write the famous phrase. So the quick brown fox jumps, okay, over the lazy dog. So I'm quite impressed just by dipping this beautiful nib. We've written almost an entire page. What can I say? Although you might get fooled about the cheap plastic of the body, the lack of ink window, or the fact that we don't have a gold nib, but I must tell you that you are wrong, and this set it is an interesting set. Thank you for your time. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. In the near future, I will show all my KAWECO sports from my collection in a special episode. Please stay tuned to see what differences are between the different KAWECO sport models. And we are talking about 1950s, 1960s, and even this, let's call it modern fountain pen from 1996. Thank you again for your time, and bye bye.